get things changed for the betterment of the game, to get them up to speed with the times. Make changes to the game so that the viewers have a better experience. And at every turn, she has been met with force. She's been denied nonstop, and she talks about it. Let's hear what the legend Sue Bird had to say about the physicality of the WNBA and how she has tried to get some of these things changed.
I just want to talk a little bit about the physicality of the league. There's so much conversation about
a Hall of Fame point guard, widely regarded as one of the best to ever play the position, recently spoke out about the league's reluctance to modify rules addressing excessive physical play. She described repeatedly advocating for changes aimed at modernizing the game and improving the viewing experience, only to be met with resistance at nearly every attempt. She addressed the perception that players wear the league's physicality as a point of pride, pushing back on that narrative.
Conversation about it. Is it too physical? Is it not? All these things. And I think there's been this narrative that's gone around that we, and I'm going to include myself here, we as WNBA players talk about the physicality in our league with like a badge of honor, right? And I don't think that's the case at all.
I do think that's the case, Sue Bird. I got to be honest with you. I'm going to disagree with you on that part. I do feel like, you know, the whole Diana Taurasi saying, oh, her time's come.
While she acknowledged that players, herself included, have often defended the rough style of play when questioned, framing it as simply part of a demanding, adult league, she clarified this doesn't mean players actually want or enjoy that level of contact. Instead, she suggested that officiating simply allows for a certain level of physicality, and players adapt to whatever the referees permit during games. She was critical of officiating standards overall, arguing that most players don't actually prefer this level of roughness, and that she personally never wanted games to be this physical during her own career.
Coming and reality's coming and this and that. The WNBA players have bragged about how physical it is and yada, yada, yada. They have wore it like a badge of honor and bragged about it.
I personally don't feel that way. But when challenged about the physicality of the league and the historical physicality of the league, yes, we say, yes, this is a physical league. Like, yeah, it's a grown woman's league. Like, yeah, you got to be ready for it. And the only reason why I want to bring that up is because
she went on to explain a specific complaint she raised directly with team owners and in competitive meetings, questioning why a 40-minute game allows 6 personal fouls before disqualification, a number borrowed from the NBA despite that league playing 48-minute games. She noted that college basketball, international leagues, and USA Basketball national team play all use a 5-foul limit, arguing there's no real justification for maintaining 6 fouls in a shorter format. She explained that keeping the extra foul allowance under the reasoning of protecting star players from fouling out actually results in stars absorbing significantly more contact per game than necessary. By her estimate, up to 11 additional fouls across a roster.
Like, yeah, you got to be ready for it. And the only reason why I want to bring that up is because while it's true that we have defended the physicality, it's not true that it's because we want it to be that way or like it that way. I think for a really long time, it's something we've talked about. But when the refs do ref the game and allow physicality, we're kind of just playing in it.
These refs are terrible. We all know the refs are bums. We know that.
And of course, what refs allow, you're going to take. And that's really what you're seeing in our game. I would argue that most players don't want it to be this physical. I was the first.
There's strong agreement with this assessment. Foul limits and physical play have become excessive, contributing to a rise in injuries and an overall lower quality product on the court. Many Hope League officials will take her suggestions seriously and implement changes soon, as the current style of play is described as difficult to watch. Attention then turns to comments from another star guard regarding player pay, and there's noticeable pushback on her stance.
I would argue that most players don't want it to be this physical. I was the first one with my hand up when I was playing. Do you think I wanted it to be physical? Then you've never seen me play. No, I did not want it to be physical.
So Sue Bird is letting it be known that she did not want all of this physicality and how it didn't suit her either, and it is a problem. Let's see what else she had to say about it.
This to multiple owners. I said this in competition meetings. I never understood why in a 40-minute basketball game, we got 6 personal fouls. And
the argument made is that if players want higher compensation, on-court performance needs to improve, since a lot of the recent product has been subpar. Shooting struggles have been widespread across the league, not isolated to any one player. Statistics cited include multiple stars shooting poorly from three-point range over their last several games, alongside declining field goal percentages league-wide.
And a lot of times I was met with, well, we don't want our star players fouling out. And just to give a little bit of context, the 6 fouls is definitely like not a hangover, but we got it from the NBA game, right? But they play 48 minutes, so it makes sense.
The NBA, they play 48 minutes and they actually call fouls in the NBA. You guys have 6 fouls and you don't even get called for 90% of them. Y'all get the flagrant, knock people heads off, all types of stuff. So I agree. Y'all should have.
Combined with excessive fouling, some games have taken on a chaotic, almost lawless quality on the floor. Despite genuinely enjoying watching this particular player, it's acknowledged
of them. Y'all get the flagrant, knock people heads off, all types of stuff. So I agree. Y'all should have 5 fouls. That should eliminate a lot of this hacking going on.
Play with 5 fouls overseas. We play with 5 fouls in college. We play with 5 fouls in national team play with USA Basketball. So this isn't 5 fouls in 40 minutes. This isn't something new. Right. And like I said, I was always met with, well, we don't want our star players fouling out. But by my math, by giving every player on a roster that 1 extra personal foul, you're allowing your best player to get fouled technically 11 more times a game than needed.
There's also frustration directed at league leadership for what's seen as inadequate response to officiating issues, with too much physical contact going uncalled or unchecked. When the player in question attributed some struggles to player fatigue from a demanding schedule, and another star referenced game density over a short stretch of days, the response is dismissive, arguing that fatigue isn't a valid excuse if players are simultaneously demanding higher pay. The comparison is drawn to NBA players logging 82 regular season games while still performing at a high level, with the suggestion that if the schedule is genuinely too much, players should consider fewer games at lower pay rather than citing exhaustion as a reason for declining play, especially compared to everyday workers managing full schedules without similar complaints.
11 more times a game than needed.
Yeah.
That's just my take. 3.
Yeah, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with what Sue Bird says right there. I think you got to do something about the fouling. The fouling is too much. It's too much, y'all. It is too much. They need to do something about it. It's ridiculous. Nobody wants to see that. It's bad basketball. You know, look at all the injuries you have in the W right now. I mean, just look at all of the injuries. It's ridiculous.
The overall message, raise the level of play, and higher compensation will follow. Caitlin Clark delivered another standout performance, this time against the New York Liberty, adding to her growing list of double-doubles this season. Off the court, the pregame period was overshadowed by criticism directed at head coach Stephanie White, along with comments from opposing player Dejounte Carrington referencing privilege, plus various other side controversies.
See Caitlin Clark with another 20-point double-double, doing it as only the GOAT could. We got to get into it. Indiana Fever higher-ups, Kelly Crosscar, came and spoke about Stephanie White. We got so much to get into. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit the bell notification, hype the video. That'd be greatly appreciated. Shout out to everybody that joined me for the live stream. We had a freaking ball watching Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell put on an absolute clinic versus the New York Liberty. Now,
Clark, however, stayed focused on basketball and let her play speak for itself, posting another 20-point double-double performance. Fever leadership figure Kelly Krauskopf also addressed the situation surrounding White during this stretch. Clark and teammate Kelsey Mitchell dominated the matchup against Sabrina Ionescu and the Liberty.
I already have a video up reacting to Stephanie White's pregame speech over on Keep the Vision Reacted. Make sure you're subscribed over there. That content is already out. We rocking and rolling. Caitlin Clark put belt to ass versus Sabrina Ionescu and the New York Liberty. Talk about it. Talk about it. This, I mean, come on, man. Mitchell and Clark can't be stopped. The Fever scored 29 points off of Caitlin Clark's passes on Tuesday night, with 20 of those.
Indiana scored 29 points directly off Clark's assists, with 20 of those coming from Aaliyah Boston and Mitchell combined. Clark finished with 22 points and 10 assists, while Mitchell exploded for 28 points on 11 of 16 shooting, including 4 of 4 from three-point range. The two combined for nearly 50 points in the first half alone, effectively deciding the game before halftime. Clark only needed 4 points in the second half, since the outcome was already settled.
He stopped. The Fever scored 29 points off of Caitlin Clark's passes on Tuesday night, with 20 of those points coming from Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell. Caitlin Clark, 22 points, 10 assists. Kelsey Mitchell, 23 points, 28 points, and 3 assists. They combined for nearly 50 in the first half. Like, these two alone. Caitlin Clark only scored 4 in the second half. She didn't need to. She didn't need to score. They destroyed the New York Liberty in one half. Literally one half.
Clark shot 7 of 15 overall, hit 50% from 3, and grabbed 4 rebounds. Mitchell played efficiently off the ball, mixing transition scoring with quick catch-and-shoot opportunities, complementing Clark's playmaking. Rookie Michaela Timberlake also drew praise for her defensive performance in her second career start, holding star forward Breanna Stewart to 8 of 21 shooting for 19 points, while limiting her to just 2 free throw attempts.
The New York Liberty in one half. Literally one half. They beat the brakes off the New York Liberty. Caitlin Clark, 7 of 15, 22 points, 10 assists, 4 rebounds. Shot 50% from the three-point line. Just doing what she got to do. Kelsey Mitchell is just blazing hot. Nobody can stop this girl right now. Nobody can stop her. 28 points on 11 of 16, 4 of 4 from the three-point line. She wasn't going dribbling all over the place. She played off ball.
Her lockdown defense frustrated Stewart throughout the night, and she added 7 rebounds alongside 3 points. Sophie Cunningham provided a spark off the bench, shooting 4 of 5 from 3 for 12 points. Monique Billings added 14 points in a reserve role, while Boston finished with 19 points and 7 rebounds, though her production increasingly comes from beyond the arc rather than at the rim, raising questions about whether she's dealing with a lingering injury, given how often she's seen favoring one leg.
She wasn't going dribbling all over the place. She played off ball. She played 3 dribbles or less. She went and got it on her own when we needed her to. She played in transition. She played her role as that pure scorer off the ball, playing off of Caitlin Clark. The Splash Sisters are back. The Splash Sisters is back, baby. Yes, they are. Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark single-handedly beat the dog crap out of the New York Liberty today. And you know who else needs a big round of applause? Michaela Timpson.
Overall, the team rallied around Clark's playmaking, pushing pace and playing an up-tempo style that overwhelmed the Liberty. When Clark and Mitchell are both clicking, opposing defenses have struggled to find an answer. Clark addressed the crowd's reaction toward White, who was booed during pregame introductions.
Needs a big round of applause. Michaela Timpson. Michaela Timpson in her second start took on a first-team All-WNBA superstar, Breanna Stewart. And what did Michaela Timpson do? She held Breanna Stewart to 8 of 21 for 19 points. I told you the key was keeping Breanna Stewart off the free throw line, and that is exactly what Michaela Timpson did. Straight up defense, locking it down. Just 2 free throw attempts for Breanna Stewart. Michaela Timpson was all over her ass on the defensive end. Michaela Timpson.
She said she disliked hearing fans boo her coach before the game, calling it upsetting, and reaffirmed that the team supports White and will continue to back her. Despite that public show of support, fan frustration has grown after perceptions that White failed to defend Cunningham following a hard foul earlier in the season. Critics argue that no amount of post-game explanation will change how fans have interpreted her handling of that situation.
Breanna Stewart, Michaela Timpson was all over her ass on the defensive end. Michaela Timpson, you did your thing defensively. Just 3 points, but you had 7 rebounds, and you played lockdown defense. Lockdown defense. You was giving Breanna Stewart fits all night. Sophie Cunningham, the blonde bomber, I said what I said, came off the bench and did what she needed to do. Then, mind you, the Indiana Fever did all of this in spite bonehead Stephanie White. We got to get to her still. Kelly Krauskopf coming in and speaking on this whole thing. Sophie Cunningham off.
Fever team president Kelly Krauskopf also released a statement addressing the coaching situation. saying White has done an excellent job leading the team for a second straight season, has the roster positioned for a playoff push, and has kept the group focused and unified despite unprecedented media attention. The statement affirmed White has full organizational support. Even with that backing, scrutiny on White continues to build.
Stephanie White, we got to get to her still. Kelly Crosskoff coming in and speaking on this whole thing. Sophie Cunningham off the bench, 4 or 5 from the 3. Okay, 12 points off the bench. Monique Billings came in and gave you 14 points off the bench. Aaliyah Boston gave you 19 and 7. She can't make layups anymore, but damn it, she can make threes. I've come to the realization, I don't know if Aaliyah Boston's hurt. Shout out to the chat. Everybody's telling me she's dragging her legs. She keeps coming out. I don't know. All I know is Aaliyah Boston is not a great finisher at the rim anymore at this.
Critics point to instances where she was seen defending opposing players. Alyssa Thomas during an incident involving Clark, and Carrington during the incident involving Cunningham, arguing she prioritized public relations over standing up for her own roster. The criticism suggests she's now facing backlash for that pattern and struggling to manage the response. Regardless of the coaching drama, the outlook remains that continuing to run the offense through Clark and letting her control the game, as seen in the Liberty win, gives the team its best path forward.